There is so much coming to Watcher of Realms. So many big things in the works, some coming very soon, some coming in a couple months. But I was very lucky to be included in the official dev interview just over a week ago. It was me and 3 other creators, Destined, Susie, and Prospector. Really nice to share that moment with them as well. And then there were the devs. There was a little dev team and some people that were intermediaries, and it was a nice long call. It was over 2 hours. And so much was covered. They laid out all the new content, all the new systems, everything, all the way through Q1 of 2026. So that's like the next 3 quarters of a year. So without further ado, I want to hop right into it and break this all down for you. There was also an extensive dev Q&A portion, and I made sure in that portion, among my many questions and the many other creator questions, I made a point to discuss Soulstones with the developers. I will include my direct quote from that point, as well as a brief dev response. But I do want to say, for everything else, I have very extensive notes, pages of notes. I'm just going to be reading from my notes. Otherwise, this video would be so long. This video would be at least half an hour, if not an hour long. I want it to be as quick as possible, but without further ado, let's get right into it. So much new content, so many new systems, new heroes, new skins, so on and so on. So you can see here, they're calling it what's next, less grind, more thrills. They want more things streamlined, and they want to give us more stuff to do. If you see me looking over here, it's because I'm looking at my notes. I want to keep this speedy, keep it smooth. Let's get after it. First things first, less grinding, more thrills. Basically, they want to optimize the basic experience, reduce unnecessary time consumption, enjoy new content. What I kind of just said, 50% more content update volume, 50% less daily time consumption. They want there to be more things to do, and they want it to take a shorter amount of time to do it. I'm not going to read through all this stuff because we're going to discuss it, each and every one thing in some detail. But if we focus here, right next to my head, right? What's going on? It says new skin by my head. If we focus on everything else, though, a couple things to point out. There will be an open world game mode coming. Many new heroes. There's a new faction in the works. There is a new Titan boss that will be joining the Titanic Ruins, and where we have our Guild Boss 2 stuff. There'll be real-time co-op bosses, a brand new style campaign. This is not new chapters of the existing campaign. It is a new story with new rules and new units to use. So many things in the works. I was blown away by the presentation. I think you will be too. It's very ambitious what the devs are taking on. I think all the other content creators agreed. There are a lot of problems in the game right now, but the devs are trying hard, and they're really going to be churning out a lot of content, as you're about to see. To kick things off, though, the devs started with a focus on less daily time consumption. They just want less grinding in the game. So let's begin with that now. They want to optimize the current experience. So first things first, you've already seen this showing up in the game. They want to consolidate the gear management system, but they made it a point to say they want to do this more and more as much as possible. So they want everything in one spot. Even as it stands right now, Ascension is split from refining and enhancement and this, that, and the other. They want everything all in one button. They want this to go a lot faster too. They want the processes to be quicker. We're gonna have to see it, but they're basically more efficient and more intuitive. Should be pretty sweet. They also want to speed up gear and artifact forging. We're already seeing it with the gear forging, right? The quick forge. We definitely need to speed up the artifact forging a bit, but something they're working on. This is just daily time saver things. Next up, this is very, very cool, very fresh, a sweep system. You'll be able to earn and purchase sweep tickets through daily activities to instantly clear designated stages and free up time. There's also going to be pay-to-win ways to get that, as I was just mentioning. So what is a sweep ticket? Basically, these are going to be tickets that let you insta-clear content. So not it's auto in the background. It's just you use a sweep ticket and it's instantly done. I really would like to see how they implement this, but if you could stack these up and you could sweep your guild boss just like that, sweep your guild boss 2 just like that, this will be a major time save. Depends how accessible these will be. They opened each one of these slides, each one of these mini sections, they would open it up to questions. And as you might guess, I had a lot of questions most of the time. I want to give a shout out to Destined and Prospector. They went heavy with the Guild Wars stuff. That was the one place where I was like, not many questions. Everything else, I was kind of grilling them. But with the sweet things, I wanted clarity. So I was like, are these free to play resources or pay to win? And they said, basically, you'll be able to earn them every which way. You know, they'll be through events, they'll be through logins, they'll be daily activity drops. Also, they'll be in bundles, they'll be in Smile 1 bundles. So free to play, pay to win, everything in between, daily grind, special event. They're planning to make these very available in a lot of different ways. It's all going to come down to the implementation and the quantity given to us, but it's pretty good. The devs are just agreeing that they want these to be accessible. Let's see what it looks like when it arrives. Next up, they talk about the Dwarven Association. This is just to speed things up there. I guess they want less lag. And also for people that are using the Dwarven Association for fodder, which is very common early on in the game, maybe even your first many months in the game, they want to have a quick refresh there and they want the experience to be faster. So we'll see what that looks like when you're buying your 1 and 2 stars. Finally, hero backup storage. I already really like the backup storage, but they're going to improve this even further with quick selling of 3 and 4 star units. Amazing. I think too many of us take the backup storage for granted. This is just not something we have in other games, and it is very, very strong. Next up, it's just going to get better and better, guys. Gem trial Keystones. So they want to, in general, make Keystones more available and make gems more available, both through the increased availability of Keystones, but also by having other ways for us to acquire gems, other gem acquisition channels, right? So hopefully it's really good. As it stands right now, I think not enough people have had enough gems to realize how bad some of this stuff is. I think a lot of players have not yet stockpiled Darkfall gems, transmutation gems, things like that. I've used hundreds, if not thousands of them on my 2 test server accounts, and the RNG is a disaster. So for it to be viable for a normal player, not someone on a test server with infinite resources, you need a lot of them. So they need a lot more ways to do this, or they need to buff the quality of how these work. Because you'll go through those transmutation gems to change one of the stats on a variant or ancient piece of gear. You will go through potentially dozens. I've used 26 of them before just trying to get whatever I wanted, HP bonus or flat attack or crit or whatever it was, right? This is something that really needs to be worked on. One way to address it is a lot more, but it's gonna have to be a lot more. Hopefully these gems eventually get buffed or the RNG gets neutralized. So how else can we get these kind of things? The devs shouted out a couple places you could get it. So you're going to be able to get keystone drops and potentially even gem drops. That's TBD. But keystone drops from the gear dungeons and AMR, that should be coming very soon in one of the next few updates. On top of that, I made sure to ask them, all right, it's cool. These are our mossy keystones, but they're the mossy keystones. What about other keystones? Are we going to get more instances? And they said, yes, we're getting new instances with new maps soon. Moreover, when those new maps are introduced, they will introduce new gems. And those gems will drop from the old maps, the Black Sewers maps, the mossy maps, and the new maps. I think Malrik is like the best content in the game right now. So getting more instances, more opportunities to get more and more better rewards. Very, very good. So all gem types in either instance, you know, the new instance and the old instance, mossy and not mossy, they're going to give different kinds of gems, old and new, and they will drop different kind of gems, both old and new in all the instances. Now you might be thinking, that sounds like a lot of Malrik farming. Well, they are planning to start automating some of the keystones. So you can auto battle some of your lower level keystones. They said it might also be linked to your BP or what you've cleared before. But I mean, for my account alone, right, if you could just automate at least the level 1s, if not the level 2s, just from my own anecdotal experience, that would be so helpful for clearing out that inventory. They said they're seeing how much time it's taking everybody. They want to automate it as much as possible. All right, let's transition over here to exclusive gear and artifacts. So you may have noticed there is a lot new exclusive gear for heroes coming out and a lot new exclusive artifacts. They want to keep their pedal to the metal on this. And they actually said the ultimate goal is eventually like every key unit or every legendary unit in the game will have an exclusive artifact and have an exclusive piece of gear. They want to make heroes more relevant or different with their exclusive gear and exclusive artifacts. And they want to slowly but surely introduce that in for everyone. So they will be buffing units. You guys may have heard recently in my video, I just broke it down, that they are buffing Elder. But on top of that, they want to keep improving, buffing, reworking, changing the way certain units interact with the game through their exclusive gear and artifacts. So here's an example. Elder got a buff. He's also going to get exclusive gear and or an exclusive artifact, but that's just going to further rework him. But Eunomia and Gon, for example, they highlighted as units that will have their gameplay changed with the introduction of exclusive artifacts, exclusive gear, stuff like that. And they're planning this basically for everybody. So it's pretty cool. Let's keep moving to more thrills. So it's content time. Probably should have led with this, but I want to go in order of the presentation. This is where it gets insanely juicy. So let's please get into this right now. Let's start with Malrik's Halls of Illusions. There's going to be more kinds of monsters to our existing instances, more trait variations. That just means more randomness, more RNG, more uniqueness to each Malrik battle, and I think that's the most fun. They're also going to have more random events surrounding Malrik. They didn't go into specifics there. Maybe it's like singular event instances with Malrik and those kind of drops. I don't know, but all in all, I just think Malrik is very good content. And then this was confusing at first, but let me explain. Keystone durability, you will be able to restart and retry. That's coming very soon, they said. That's in a very recent update. So you don't have to quit out of the game, or you don't have to fail and then you use it and lose it. You're going to be able to retry with these instances. Next up, this is the least interesting piece of all the great content, and there is a lot of great content. This is the Grimmscale Invasion. This is my opinion. I thought the Grimmscale Invasion was the worst part of the anniversary, and they're thinking this might be a more permanent thing. I don't mind them introducing this as a permanent thing as long as they heavily rework the content. Let me know what you guys think. Personally, I did not enjoy this content one bit. I really didn't. They're talking about it as a single target physical magic DPS check. It is a wallet check is what it feels like. And even still, even on the test server when I do it and I've, as if I'm a millionaire, it doesn't matter. It's not engaging content in my opinion. GVG stuff, I'm going to go super fast here. If you want a deep dive on GVG, definitely watch Susie or Prospector, or certainly Destined. He was very excited about the GVG stuff. This is not my bread and butter, but they're doing some stuff. So the main thing is they're doing a tier split. So basically there's going to be a high league that's super competitive and has the changing maps, follows the existing rules. And then there's going to be a low league or a lower tier league that's just more fixed and consistent. It's like the casual league. So you still want to get rewards, but you don't want to heavily go crazy and interact with GVG. That's where you'll probably hang out. And then they said probably about the top 20 to 30% of guilds based on their GVG performance will be in the high tier league. So, existing guilds that engage with GVG will be there. And it will just keep rotating maps, be the normal thing we're used to. And then the lower ones will be a lot more chill, a lot more casual. There will be better rewards in the higher tier league, but they didn't make it sound like it was going to be so much better. TBD on that, though. And essentially after each season, there'll be promotion and relegation between the high and low tiers. They're going to introduce bot strongholds. So these are basically AI-controlled strongholds you can attack. You're going to get less rewards, and you're going to chip away at the opponent's HP less. But if you just want to be casual and you don't want to have to deal with attacking difficult real player defenses, you can go for a quick, easy win, better than doing nothing for a lot of players. They're also going to recommend certain attack plans. That's going to be a little bit easier. It's going to help at the lower levels. And then they're going to have different kinds of challenges. So this is just another way to have more specific things to pursue in your GVG and then get better rewards. Key thing being better rewards. Very quick to wrap up GVG, Demon Soldier factions are going to become more and more a thing. We just had the Chaos faction get introduced with the last update, along with the Frostmourne faction, and then the new Demon Lord faction leaders. They're already working on a new faction called the Blood Spring Creature faction, and there's a lot of other things coming. I made sure to ask, this was like the one GVG question I asked, will this be coming a new faction every season? No, but we'll continue to get new Demon Soldiers every season, and every couple seasons we'll get new factions. So pretty cool. They really are all in on the GVG mode. So for the people that love it, awesome. Maybe I'll try to engage with it more. Balance system enhancements. They're going to introduce more and more testing. Too many soldiers have been coming out super OP. They've noticed that. They know that. The other CCs made sure to let them know it, and they're going to do a lot more to test. And they're still working on how they can test most optimally, but it's on their radar for sure. Okay, sorry it took 15 minutes to get to the point in the video I was dying to get to, but this is just the good, beautiful content. So let's start with the new Titanic Ruins boss. We don't know if this is Semra doing a new thing or it's another automaton in the Titanic Ruins world that's like another Titan like Semra. I made sure to ask that. They said they hadn't decided yet, but this is really cool, and this is already coming in Q4. So this is coming within 2-3 months.
This boss will be completely independent from the previous Titans. We have designed a new arm mechanic that adds entirely new challenges, unlike the current bosses, which focus mostly on single target mechanics and single target tests. This boss will test players' understanding of shield mechanics and AoE damage output.
This is going to be amazing. This is AoE and shield-based content. They want to get more, currently less traditional units involved in boss content. So we don't see a lot of AoE. These are going to be It is going to be an AoE kind of boss. The purple hand is going to be for physical damage. The yellow hand will be for magic. There'll be 2 bosses, the way we have APOC 1 and APOC 2. It's not going to be like different difficulty, I don't think, but it's going to be different style. So it'll be the magic boss and the physical boss. You'll have to fight each one each week, and you can't reuse units between those 2 specific fights for this kind of Titan boss. And it's pretty cool. It's fully independent from APOC 1 and 2, so you can use units you used in APOC on this, but if you use some kind of support unit for the magic boss, you can't use it on the physical boss. Going to be a lot of AoE, going to be a lot of shields. They said they're still working on it, but it sounds really cool. There won't be multi-phases within the fight. Things will be changing in the fight, but it's going to remain, the physical AoE one is about that. The magic AoE one is about that. It's going to be really good. They said the rewards will be fantastic. I thought Semra was some of the best content they ever added to the game. I was hoping we'd hear about an APOC 3. They haven't mentioned that yet, but the new Titan boss should be awesome. Zombie Invasion just launched a couple days ago. I'll be streaming that very soon. Maybe by the time this video comes out, I already will have streamed it. I think it's really cool. It's like a roguelite mode, totally unique to anything in the game. You guys have probably already done it. It's got this hack and slash vibe. You're picking the way you want to level up your different attacks and things like that. A lot of people really like it. And the rewards are pretty good. This is the juiciest part. New Void Rift stuff. We're getting a brand new map. So is it a whole new rotation? Is it a whole new phase? A whole new whatever? They weren't 100% clear, but there were entirely new modes and entirely new routes, including way harder difficulties. There's also going to be new stuff that isn't hard difficulty, the way we have the lower difficulty tiers in Void Rift. So there's going to be stuff for everyone, but it sounds like at a minimum, it will be something akin to like a third rotation. We have the 2 rotations now. Maybe it's going to be entirely different routes in general. But one thing we know for sure is there's new content coming, new monsters coming, new bosses coming, and harder difficulties coming. They also confirmed they're adding Void Rift content both for the normal weekly Void Rift stuff, so like repeatable Void Rift content, and they're adding new one-off Void Rift content. So there's going to be new epilogue content. Tons of good stuff. I thought this was very, very, very exciting. They predict the new Void Rift stuff will start arriving in October or November. It's very soon at this point, right? We're talking 2 or 3 months. Really, really, really good. Let's keep moving. There's a brand new campaign, and you can see they are highlighting Cyclone, Rex, and Borit. And why are they doing that? It's because with this new campaign, it is not new chapters in the old campaign. It's completely fresh. Players will start from scratch with a wholly limited roster. So you're not going to be gated by your stats and what the luck you've had or the money you've spent. It's going to be very focused on strategy and team comps. Something like this is so exciting to me. This is exactly what I like to see. They're saying that's coming end of this year or early 2026. This should be really, really cool. I don't even know what it's going to look like, but I like the idea that it's something kind of levels the playing field. It sounds very interesting and very fresh. Now we got an open world game mode. They said they couldn't share much on it, but they did describe it as a true exploration of Taya. They said it's going to be a freer and more immersive exploration experience. So pretty dang cool. I'm not going to, put the cart in front of the horse here. We have no idea what this is going to be, but I like that their head is here. Now, very cool. Estimated end of this year, not next year, end of this year, is a real-time co-op boss. And this should be very, very nice. You can split roles. You can also play as a single player with like AI kind of assistance, but it's really, you team up with someone else. You've got your little team. It's a real-time PvE challenge against like a co-op boss. And it's something we have never seen in this game. And it is something I think is going to be really exciting. So I think the content stuff is, if you can't tell, is what I was most jazzed up about. They also have a lot of plans for heroes. So let's move through this quickly now. The tacticians are already live. As you know, they opened this up to questions, and I made sure to ask, are you satisfied with the implementation of tacticians? Is this how you envisioned it? And they were honest. They said yes and no. They said the tacticians are very cool. They said they're performing very well. They're very strong. They're happy with that. But then I made sure to ask, are they doing this free movement thing that you anticipated? The way a lot of people use Valara or Moradin, Valara more than Moradin, is just keep her still, right? Is that how you envisioned the tacticians? And they said, not exactly, but they're performing well, and they think as they add more and more, they're going to really make use of that displacement effect that kind of defines the tacticians, that move around stuff. You can see more tacticians will be introduced with different roles. They will continue to be released. That's going to be pretty sweet. We made sure to ask, is it going to be like all legendaries still? Is this going to be a legendary class, or will there be some epics? And they said for the near future, it will all be legendaries, but they do eventually plan to add epics. What is eventually? I don't know. Hopefully it's sooner rather than later. I made sure to ask, will the mounts always be horses, or could they be riding something else? They said they do have a couple planned right now that are horses, but they do, especially with the new roles, have tacticians planned that ride different things, different mounts, and they even have tacticians planned that don't have any mount at all. So there's going to be a lot of variety to this class. Should be very, very cool. And then you can see end of this year, we're already getting this elder buff. Underwhelming elder buff in my opinion, but hey, they're paying attention to that faction, the North Throne, and they said their end of the year focus is specifically on the North Throne. They said there's going to be at least one new lord, if not multiple. I'd think probably a new ancient exclusive legendary lord, maybe a new epic as well, and some new kind of system. I didn't really know what system meant, but after pushing them for a little bit, I think it's going to be a new kind of like team comp style. So you think of the poisoner comp or the summoner comp, maybe there's going to be a shield comp they're pushing. Something like that. That's how I interpret it, but some new kind of system. And they said this faction will evolve into one of the core team building archetypes. If they're pushing it, it's going to happen. So start paying attention to your Northerners. That's basically it, right? And then finally, next year, they're adding a new faction. Finally, 2.5 years into the game at that point, there's going to be a new faction coming, and then there's going to be a new team. So with new team, this I pressed them on, and yes, this is exactly like the summoner team or the poisoner team, or maybe this is going to be the shield team. But there's going to be a brand new style team we haven't seen yet that will come in the new year, new types of heroes, and then a new faction. The new faction is so cool. It is something I think we can all be really, really excited about. It does say here next year, but they did mention it's possible, not a guarantee, but the new team and or new faction could even come at the end of this year. They even threw out October, November. So that'd be pretty awesome. Let's go on now to new specific heroes. So these first couple are videos I'm going to play for you. You can see here, this is some crazy looking sea god guy. Seems like Poseidon adjacent, looking pretty freaking cool, I would say. We have this very regal looking female hero. I think this is going to be certain people's favorite hero. Kind of almost looks like she's related to Leia or something, but looks pretty incredible. Just while I'm here, we'll talk about a little bit more skins in a moment, but we got two skins. Here's Erlang Shen. We've already seen the preview of that. But then this one, I actually don't know who this is. This might be a new unit. I feel like every character in the game that this could have been, we already have in the game. But very, very, very cool. Let's continue on now with the slides. Some more new heroes. We have this kind of Davy Jones, Blackbeard. I guess more Blackbeard. We have this Blackbeard pirate-looking guy, ghostly. This is, I hope he doesn't fall in the footsteps of Admiral Claw. I hope he's actually as good as he looks, but very badass. Some more here. I'm obviously obsessed with this Arbiter-looking dwarf. I wish he was riding a donkey, but we'll take what we can get. Very cool looking, I don't even know, some kind of undead, ghostly tank guy. Very, very neat. Some more hero designs here. This might be a tactician. Looks like some kind of Eastern style guy who's riding this red, very beefy horse, actually. Very cool chick here as well. See the different levels of, you can kind of guess when these guys are going to come based on how developed the mockups are. Very beautiful. This one's amazing. So here we've got the new hero, the Bone Painter. I'm going to include a clip from the developer right now. Let him talk about it, because this was one of my favorite parts of the interview, was listening to the dev speak on this and how excited he is about this character.
No, we can introduce a hero we are particularly excited about, the Bone Painter. Please note that the name and artwork are not final and due to changes at launch. So this character is inspired by the artistic vision of Picasso, combined with the dark aura of a necromancer. So the concept is based blending of the art and madness. In his backstory, he paints with the ashes of the dead in pursuit of his version of true art. One day, his abstract painting tore open reality, and the monsters from the canvas burst into the gallery, devouring the audience. Since then, he has continued to use death as his medium, striving to complete his own eternal masterpiece. We also have, during the creation of the hero, we have put a lot of thought into the visual design, and like his ashen paintbrush is embedded with the finger bones of his loved ones, and he paints using fragments of souls. And his collage robe is sewn from burial shrouds, patterned with deconstructed human faces. Through the hero, the Born Painter, we wanted to express the blend of darkness and art, the feels of art. He's a wild, independent character full of imagination and creativity. And we are very confident that once this hero goes live, his abilities and his design will leave a lasting impression.
So I thought this was an amazing moment. You can see how much thought goes into some of the hero design. Watch Realms has some of the more beautiful and thoughtfully designed heroes in the game, and then you can kind of hear the thinking behind the scenes, and this guy is just going to be amazing. Who thinks of Picasso plus Necromancer? That is wild. These first two skins are the ones I showed you. Couple more now. Could this be a Yuri skin, or is this a new character? I don't know. Again, I don't know what skin this one is. Maybe this is Neza. Actually, with the ghoul behind him, this is definitely like an early mock-up of the Erlong Shen skin. Very beautiful. You can see they're working their butt off on these. This has to be the Lady Alex skin, and my God. Congrats to the lucky people that are going to get the voucher for this one for free. This must be a new hero, but he looks like a literal god. Maybe this is a new lord. I don't know. Finally, the Q&A. So with the Q&A, we have a lot to talk about. I know the video is getting long, guys, but buckle up because this might have been the best part of the whole interview. Let's get right into it. Will old content be revamped in the future, such as Void Rift and Gear Dungeons that really need a buff or change? Also, where is Void Rift Epilogue 2 and new stages of Faction Trials? So I did mention the Void Rift stuff already, right? We had addressed that earlier on in the interview, but we circled back to it here, and they just hard confirmed everything. More epilogue, more weekly Void Rift, harder difficulties, more rewards, unique kind of rewards, they said too. Everything we wanted to hear, they kind of touched on. This was a win. Now with Faction Trials, to get specific, they said at least 2, if not 3 Faction Trial expansions are expected before the end of the year. All the Faction Trials outside of the basic trial go up to stage 12. Then a couple months ago, several months at this point, they introduced 13, 14, 15 for Watcher and Esotericist, and they've done nothing since. They're basically saying at least 2 more are coming, if not a third. Finally, I feel like, I hope you guys made it this deep into the video. Let me know in the comments if you did. It's only getting better and better from here. Gear Dungeons. I was like, hey, are we going to get actually new farming content? New gear raids, new Gear Dungeons. And they confirmed they have a brand new Gear Dungeon 3 in the works, and it's going to have new rewards. I don't know what that means, but I'm very excited. Additionally, they promised new floors for Gear Dungeon 1 and 2. Is it going to go up to 12 or 15? We'll have to see, but those are going to get harder, which is really cool because when they came out, they were incredibly difficult. Now, for a developed account, frankly, they're easy. For a progressing account or an early late game account, maybe not easy, but yeah, once you reach the end game with what, seasoned players have, well-developed rosters have, they are easy. So a new Gear Dungeon is coming and new floors for the existing Gear Dungeons. They also hard confirmed in the future that you will not have to use any stamina in the Gear Dungeons, just the keys. And moreover, they said that's going to come very soon in one of the next 2 updates, is what they said. So that is very, very good news. Someone then asked as a follow-up if they were going to add any new kinds of gears, like a new gear slot, right? We have our weapon and our breastplate. Will we get a helmet? Will we get boots? They said for now there are no plans for that. Bit disappointing, but with the gems, we have other ways to beef our stuff up right now. So that is pretty neat. Next question. Are there any plans to bring back game modes such as Demonic Crusade and United Front? Many players enjoyed these and would love to see them come back. United Front is going to be cycling on and off continuously for now, they said. So that is basically a big part of everything. It's going to be a new staple in the game. And Demonic Crusade, that was really fun problem solving. They said they do have new stuff prepared. They didn't give us a date, but it should be coming soon. Gear Dungeons and Gear Dungeon 3, we already talked about that, but yeah, awesome. The next thing, I kind of folded that into my other answer. Again, any new gear slots, new gear raids to make that happen. They said, yes, we're getting the new Gear Dungeon. Nothing about a new gear raid and nothing about new gear slots. Gear sets, they were vague on. I don't have specifics. Next up, this was a specific question from me. Is there anything like a battle replay system coming to the game? And they said, yes, absolutely. So that is really cool. They're already working on something for battle replays for Arena, and potentially they would do it with PvE content as well. So I thought that was pretty Good news. Next up, we asked about plans to buff some of the more useless heroes and lords in the game. There are many legendaries that aren't that good anywhere and they need love. They basically gave a canned answer, but a true answer, it seems, that like, hey, we've been buffing the whole of 2025 and we'll keep doing it. They said we already have the Elder buff coming and we have other things in the works and you're going to be able to vote on something, which we now know is the Pioneer vote for the Classic Hero revamp. And it's going to be arrogance that wins, but whatever. They want to keep doing it. Maybe there'll be more votes like that in the future. We did press them. I think each one of the four of us asked for specifics. We mentioned Venoma, we mentioned Twin Fiend, we mentioned Cratch, Absin, these very forgotten units. And they were like, yeah, we'll try to get to everybody. But I would like a little bit more specifics on like, when are you going to address Venoma, who's undeployable? When are you going to address Twin Fiend, who is strictly inferior to Soul Cadence in every way? But this stuff is on their radar. They're working hard at it. They're going to keep consistent buffs and reworks coming. So we'll take it. Now for the moment, maybe some of you have been waiting for, and where I'm going to include a whole speech I gave during the interview. Will you introduce Soulstone Pity and or Soulstone Shards? There's far too much luck-based variance with Soulstones. I know people have gotten 10 unpolished Soulstones, and I know people have gotten only one ever. I'm going to play what I said now. I'll try to cut it up as short as possible. I know this video is getting long, but I want you guys to hear how I asked it. I'll try to include a dev response. Destin also made a hilarious joke. I'm going to make sure to find and include. Let me play that for you now.
The next question is, will you introduce Soulstone Pity and Soulstone Shards? There is far too much luck-based variance with Soulstones. I know people who have gotten 10 unpolished Soulstone drops, and I know people who have gotten only one ever. The answer is, to make sure players have a good experience, we have already built in a pity system. It keeps the fun of randomness, but makes sure no one ends up with an extremely unlucky experience.
Soulstone Pity, you said, is already existing now, or is gonna be soon? What does that mean exactly? Like every time you get a chest from clan boss, guild boss, whatever, you tick away a pity hit if you don't get one, or what does that really mean?
So the exact details are pretty complex and involve a lot of probability calculations. So it's not really something we can break down here. But the main point is it's there to avoid those extreme cases of bad luck and make sure everyone's experience feels fair. And of course, we'll keep listening to your feedbacks to make sure that players can have a good experience with it.
Are you saying this already exists in the game? This is already live in the game?
Yeah.
It's already live in the game.
Can I ask something? Number one, when was this added? Number two, why was this not talked about? And number three, how does it work? Where do we find the information? How many days is it? These are all important things.
Well, if this has been there the whole time and we think the current system is fair, I think that we've got an enormous problem.
The Soulstone Pity have been added a while ago, and it's
bad news.
We are continuously working on that to make it better balanced. And what we can answer is it's working as intended, as what we designed it.
If this is working as intended, I think you should reevaluate your intention. Because currently the system is fundamentally flawed. It's one thing to have a gacha game based on RNG and to have some level of variance player to player. But what we're discussing while you guys were talking, Destin says he knows someone who has had 16 drops. I've had 3 ever. I know someone who's had 1 ever. And all these people in question have been max farming all of the guild bosses since Unpolished Soulstones were introduced, since Abyss 1 was introduced, right? Something like that is unacceptable, especially in a game where you have chosen to gate key progression for a hero behind Awakenings. In other games, even some of the shadiest games in the genre, they do not do that. Key DPS jumps, abilities, crowd control effects, this, that, and the other are not gated behind duplicates. It is strictly stats. That is the norm in this business. You have gone against the norm, and then you've made it you've introduced an incredibly luck-based system, RNG-based system. So the one person who pulls 10 Soulstones can comfortably A5 all these limited heroes, which are not normally available, and then do whatever they want with all the extra. and then other people are constantly strapped. Combine that with the fact that you have introduced this excellent progressive system to banners, but not added that to limited heroes, you put people in a situation where the only recourse, because you know you're not going to get lucky on Soulstones or you cannot count on it, is to unload on those banners. And for every person that gets 4 Kagiris and 500 summons, you have a bunch of people with 1,000+ summons. It's okay when it happens to someone like me, a content creator, doing it for free, doing it for a business, but imagine the people spending thousands and thousands of dollars. People are quitting over this, and it's a fundamental flaw in the game.
That's it. That one time.
Why didn't we get any for anniversary? Like, it's supposed to be, the rewards are really lacking for anniversary from something so important. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw Fasti's background a while ago.
I know. Oh, yeah, exactly. Fasti's like, where's our unpolished soulstone for our 2nd anniversary event? Yeah, and it's like the most important thing. If there really is special stuff happening, they should tell people, but it just makes everyone more upset. Not.
I don't know if I would rather have gotten a response that says, "Oh, there isn't one, and we're not really thinking about it."
Regarding this problem, we have already made some adjustments to narrowing the differences between the luckiest person and the most unlucky person in terms of soulstone dropping, and we'll are continuously looking at the data and continuously making adjustments to make the dropping experience of soulstones better.
If I can follow up with one thing, like a way you can make it less varied is to have more consistent, guaranteed ways for people to earn it, such as people getting them for events. The reset book was nice, but when we saw 3 previous events leading up to the giant anniversary where people got an unpolished soulstone, and then we were teased with the idea of mysterious mail, we expected it to be something mysterious that was not yet announced. So people are wondering, are they going to get an unpolished soulstone before the anniversary is over? It's leaving a bad taste in a lot of players' mouths when you were willing to sell one directly for $100, but now this is the one event where you're not giving it to players. All that in the shadow of doing this limited selector where some people got a bunch of Kagiri or Wukong or Diao-Chan, and then some people blew thousands of dollars and didn't get a single copy. Someone pulled 230,000 diamonds worth of summons and didn't get a single Kagiri.
Yeah, I did a summon session for someone who had 6,000 pulls, and 3.4 thousand was, I'm pretty sure, 1 Kagiri.
Limited selection banner. We are already looking into the drop rates, the data, and to if there are anything not working as intended, we will be making adjustments to it.
Sure. The point is the fact you've created an environment where these limiteds are very rare and they have transformative awakenings gated behind getting duplicates or soulstones. No, I'm not even questioning the rates on the banner, but because the rates are so low to begin with and you haven't introduced another system and there's no consistent, reliable, non-luck way to get the soulstones, I think it's like a thing that's rotten to the core of the game, personally. And you say Christmas, but we had it as part of the Frostfall Jamboree, but then right before New Year's, you sent us another one in the mail. So that's Christmas and New Year's, and we got one in the mail for Till Kingdom Come. That's 3 times, right? So the past 3 bigger events. I'm just saying, like, what players say, what viewers say, and certainly how I feel. It feels like this is like in the DNA of the game, and I think it needs to be addressed in some way that players don't feel taken advantage of. It's very hard to see one guildmate get just a surplus and then someone to just be, strike out 10 times in a row until they quit, and then you've lost a valuable player, a valuable customer.
Yeah, I don't think you're breaking the game by giving everybody 1 soulstone during the anniversary event. And I don't think you realize how impactful that is for player morale. Like, it really does. People will quit over seeing that in the shop versus not getting one. I guarantee that's the final straw for some people, if that's how it ends.
That's something we'll be thinking about. So we have received all your opinions, all your feedbacks, and we'll be thinking about how to improve this particular experience. And you guys will see in the future.
Yeah.
We'll make some adjustments. Okay.
All right. Thank you.
And the fact that it is apparently in the game already, and people are still asking for it because there's been no information out that it's even there, I think it would go a long way that this is shown somewhere. No matter what other gacha games do or anything, this is the right way to do it.
The reason we like this game is because it's not like other gacha games. That's why we're We're all still
That's
here.
correct. That's right.
It's not your average RPG.
It's not your average RPG.
That's your average RPG.
Damn, I could really go for some Watcher of Realms right now.
About this Soulstone pity system, so we have discussed that at a certain point, that which is suitable, we will be discussing some of the core mechanics of the pity system, but not every detail, not everything in detail, of course. And we will also be considering adding another long-term pity system, which may sort of like you guarantee you will have certain Soulstone drops in a long time period.
Yeah.
We really appreciate everyone joining us. And once again, we want to sincerely thank every creator and every player for our support and companionship. We hope that in the coming year, we can work together to make the game even better, explore more new content together, and create even more joyful moments. Thank you all. We look forward to welcoming the next year with you. Thanks.
All right, I know that was a lot. Hopefully I cut it up nicely. Basically, they kind of acted like it wasn't a big deal, and none of us agree with that. I mean, I think there's something rotten at the core of this game when it comes to the need for awakenings and the rarity of Soulstones, the variance and the ability to acquire Soulstones, and obviously how hard it is to pull dupes of characters, especially when they're limited characters, and every new limited now needs awakenings. You know, we thought maybe Morden you could get away with A0. For a lot of stuff you can, but for other stuff like you want A3, undeniably, and at least you want A1. So it's frustrating to hear. I hope I found the clip. Otherwise, this is the first time you're hearing it. They confirmed that there has been a Soulstone pity the entire time, at least the recent history of this game, which is mind-blowing. Kind of makes me think there's something in there to make sure we don't get them that often, as opposed to make sure we get them with some frequency. Hard to say, but we were all floored when they said that. They did say after we pressed them, and if I find this, I will include it. Otherwise, let me just tell you now, they heard us. You know, we kind of all went in on them. I especially went in on them, and they were like, yeah, maybe we'll think about some kind of hard pity, some kind of new system. And then Destin was like, you got to make sure you announce that if you do that. And they said, okay, we'll definitely consider all of that. So next up, A5s for free heroes in the future, more awakenings. So examples of this, right, off the top of our head, this would be Init, someone like that, right? Maybe Lady Alex, you know, so you don't have to use Soulstones. Units that cannot be pulled are just like event-specific something units. Are there going to be systems to get more awakenings for them, the way we have with Volca? And they basically said yes, and we'll have to stay tuned. Finally, this is one of my questions. Are they planning any collabs with big IPs? They do have one collab planned, maybe even more than one. Those are their words. So that was very, very fun to hear. It's pretty awesome. I mean, that's pretty awesome. So I think that could be huge for the game. Could it be Lord of the Rings? Probably not, but let the boy dream. There you go, guys. I know the video was long. I want to thank my editor, Mitchell, for editing this. I've been Fastidious. If you have any more questions, if there's anything I didn't explain properly, just let me know below, and I'll do my best to elaborate. Thank you. Share with your mother, and I'll see you real soon. Bye.
Fastidious.